colleagues after work, attending a friend's wedding. All seem harmless, but these are the types of things contributing to a significant spike in COVID-19 cases in Ontario. Community spread is making more and more people sick, threatening to overwhelm our hospitals and putting all of us at risk. Vaccines will help protect us, but until they're widely available, we all need to follow public health advice and guidelines. That means staying home, except for essential reasons, like buying groceries. Stay home, stay by the government of Ontario.
Streams of Truth, brought to you by Sportsnet Now. Sports fans just want one thing, to watch the game in peace. So, go ahead, confiscate your child's tablet and stream the game with Sportsnet Now. You deserve to find peace, and you can do so by streaming sports on a tablet protected by a pink butterfly case smeared with applesauce. Live streams with Sportsnet Now. Actually, that might be Apricot. Starting at $9.99. Visit snl.ca for details.
680 News Time, 12:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Sarah, shares in GameStop have already been halted today because of volatility, and this time the volatility was to the downside. So shares in GameStop off by 22%. At one point it was down 34%, but keep in mind it was up by about 400% last week. Now, the stock had been seeing gains because of the so-called short squeeze, where those betting against the stock are forced to cover at a higher price and sometimes get out. And this practice is not new. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments.
We certainly haven't seen it in the stock markets to this extent previously, but we have seen it on a global level and in a whole lot of other asset classes previously. So historically, short squeezes often hit in commodity markets. You would see, the silver price or whatever suddenly jump up because shorts were being squeezed out of the market. And the other area where this happens very, very frequently is in my world, in the foreign exchange world.
Now, some apps like Robinhood were forced to put in restrictions on trading that stock because of all the activity. Some of those restrictions have now been lifted. The company, though, still has drawn criticism and even lawsuits. And with GameStop lower, U.S. markets are still bouncing back from the worst week since October. Right now, the Dow is up by 255, the S&P up by 57, and the NASDAQ up by 318 points. Wow, that's a jump of 2.4%. The TSX higher by 309, 17,646. Bay Street is getting a boost today from the metals. So silver is a new target by retail investors. Right now it's up 7.2% to $28.92. It's been close to an 8-year high. Gold is higher by $17, $18.67. And then oil up as well by 88 cents, $53.08. While the Canadian dollar is down a third of a cent, 77.93 cents U.S. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Your head says, make sound investments for the future. But your heart says, invest in that new sound system right now. With advice...
30, dans les maritimes pour un autre Midi Info. À demain.
5.47 kilometers, 0.06 kilometers per hour, 271 calories per hour.
En Ontario et vous faites preuve d'initiative, les prix Relève ON vous offrent une vitrine pour inspirer la relève. Inscrivez-vous sur radiocanada.ca. Relève ON.
Problem is the eastbound Highway 7 route to the northbound 400 being closed. Tractor trailer rollover.
Internet just got better.
Nous, on le fait écouter à Paul Journet.
On dira. Vous écoutez ici Radio-Canada. Left my arms.
$4.97 at Walmart. In Richmond Hill, it's sunny, -7. Niagara Falls, some light snow, -5. Downtown Toronto, also -5 under a partly cloudy sky. This is CFTR 680 News. It's 1 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Monday, the 1st of February. I'm Steve Roberts.
And I'm Sarah Parents. Here's what's making news this hour.
As local COVID-19 hotspots see cases drop, a decision on allowing GTHA students back to in-class learning could come this week.
More than 1,900 COVID cases in Ontario today, but health officials say that number will be flawed. We will tell you why just ahead. A travel prevention loophole. Even though Canadian Airlines have agreed to suspend services to the Caribbean and Mexico, it's still quite easy to book a flight to these sunny destinations.
Yeah, you just booked 2
Toronto
flights.
City councillors say the small business tax relief powers the province promised have to come through now, or it won't be part of this year's budget, and businesses will suffer.
Baseball having trouble agreeing again. You'll hear from John.
L'Est de la province, Stephen Lecce maintient que les écoles des autres régions ne rouvriront pas.
While the TSX jumps by more than 300 points. We'll tell you why in business at 26.
680 News Time 101.
All right, now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Gary Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by IA Private Wealth. Eastbound on the 401, it's slow going as you approach Trafalgar, so we may have a new problem there. It looks like traffic is now backed up from a... Be aware of that delay build.
A été distribué en nombre suffisant et les résidents positifs n'auraient pas été placés en isolement. Le foyer n'a pas communiqué,
They'll also have to have some in-class experience and be on track to graduate by the end of this year. They'd be paid at the beginner's rate, and the time they log in the classroom will count towards their work placement. But that is causing some concern. Liz Stewart is president of the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association.
In order to do that, somebody needs to supervise. So who is going to do that? And how is that going to actually take place?
Boards would only be able to offer a position to a student teacher after going through all of the names on their current supply list. This move could add another 2,000 educators to school board rosters. Sandy Salerno, Global News.
NetBo President Sam Hammond will be taking listener calls right after the news at 5 o'clock regarding the government allowing student teachers into classrooms. Ontario.
Allowing government. Who do you think's there now?
Feels like minus 10. 680 News Time 103.
The province has announced new safety measures for school reopenings as well as an expansion of testing. Now, there was some hope, actually, that today's education announcement would include more details about when students in hot zones would be heading back to class, but not so much.
680's Irene Preclett has been following this for us.
What was that so far? Saul Foreman died.
There are hundreds of thousands of students
across the radio in Toronto.
That doesn't mean for in-class learning. That is not an option here in the GTHA. Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says they are looking over the numbers and a decision could come this week.
Two things we want to do. One, are the community transmission rates coming down and going in the right direction? The answer is yes. The next thing is that do we have enough systems in place that we didn't have in the fall for even further testing? And Mr. Lecce has alluded to that with the so-called targeted testing.
So if the answer is yes, that GTHA schools can reopen to in-class learning, the earliest that could happen would be February 10th. The province today also announcing expanded testing in schools as well as mandatory masks for grades 1 to 3. And again, the earliest GTHA schools could reopen is February 10th. Reporting live, Irene Preclett, 680 News.
Well, it should be noted the province reporting 1,969 new cases of COVID-19 today, along with 36 additional deaths. Now, the way it breaks down is Toronto has 886 new infections, Peel 330, and York Region 128. But keep in mind with these figures, according to the health minister today, there has been a technical glitch with Toronto's case count, meaning that it actually should be lower by several hundred tests.
What?
Now, today's data also comes with just over 30,000 tests completed.
International travelers now take a COVID test upon arrival
fuck?
at Pearson Airport. The new measures came into effect at noon today. It's an effort to stop contagious new variants of the virus from spreading further in this province. The federal government announced a similar program that will take effect in the coming weeks. The testing order will eventually apply to the province's land border crossings to the U.S.
Well, the Trudeau government being criticized now for what's being described as a big loophole in its efforts to prevent Canadians from leaving the country during the second wave. With details, here's our Parliament Hill reporter, Cormac McSweeney.
As a part of a series of new travel restrictions, the feds announced Canadian Airlines have agreed to suspend all services to the Caribbean and Mexico until the end of April. However,
one can easily still book flights there if you use a U.S.-based airline. That opposition party is criticizing the government, saying this is an inconsistent measure and a failure to take real action. But air passenger rights advocate Gabra Lucas tells me this is not technically a travel ban, and airlines agreed to do this as a business decision, so it's not a big problem. He says the flight cancellations are not the big deterrent here. What really is the new rule that people will have to quarantine in the hotel for at least 3 days at a cost of $2,000 per person once they return.
And they just imagine a family of, say, 4 people, 2 adults, 2 kids at $8,000 extra. Do you really want to pay for it? Is that bad notification?
The Transport Minister's office says U.S. airlines can't fly direct from Canada to these sun destinations. There has to be a stopover in the U.S., and the feds are working with the Biden administration to close that loophole. Cormac Meeks, 20, Parliament Hill.
You're listening to 680 News. It's 106. Some Toronto City councillors are calling on the province to give more information on help for small businesses. 680's Momin Qureshi is following this and joins us live with more. Momin.
Sarah, in November, when the province tabled its budget, it said it was going to give the municipalities the power to affect the way small businesses pay taxes as a way to help them out in this pandemic. That was welcome news. However, Councillor Kristen Wong-Tam says the province law hasn't told the cities and towns how they can use that power. And the problem is that the cities and towns have to finalize their budget soon, so they don't get that word coming down quickly. They won't be able to include it this year.
Meaning that the province recognized that small businesses were unduly harmed by the pandemic and their lockdown recession, and that they were intending to give cities actual powers to target small business tax relief specifically for those who are disproportionately hit.
And if the city can't get it in by the February 18th deadline of when they have to finalize the budget, it may have to wait till next year. Lionel Miskin with the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Area says that could be too late.
It can't wait. It just can't wait till 2022. I just urge both levels of government to push this ahead.
You've been spending money on flowers for 25
Well, with
fucking
concerns
years.
swirling around new
Now
European
you're about
export
money.
controls, Canada's international trade minister says our vaccine deliveries, though, will be safe.
This will not affect, and it was not intended to affect, Canadian shipments of the vaccine. We are taking a whole of government approach to this important issue, as we have done with the entire pandemic, engaging with the EU and member states at every level to ensure that Canadian vaccine shipments will not be impacted.
Now, Mary Ng telling a House of Commons committee that she and others in government have received many assurances right now in phone calls and communications with their counterparts in the EU and countries where our 2 approved vaccines are being produced.
A change at the top for one Canadian automaker in Canada. 680 Business Editor Chris McCusker with those details.
Ford Motor Company of Canada is promoting veteran executive Bev Goodman to the job of president and CEO effective immediately. She replaces Dean Stonley, who will be appointed to the newly created position of General Manager, North America Truck. Now, Goodman began her career as a finance intern, and she spent 25 years in a variety of roles at the automaker, including finance, parts and service, and sales and marketing. Now, this announcement comes on the same day Eva Biza is now the CEO at Mercedes-Benz Canada. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
And on the way in just 30 seconds, we'll have a check on the price of gas.
680 News Time, 109.
This is 680 News. Humans are the most advanced species on Earth. We've conquered fire, created powerful technologies, and yet we're still stuck paying for food delivery. Not anymore. With Good Food, you can get delicious ready-to-cook meals and grocery items like Good Food hummus, popcorn, and
Orientaux sur ce plateau. Bonjour Aurélie. Bonjour. 2 livres. D'abord, Sudan, The Failure of Division of an African State de Richard Cockett. C'est paru chez Yale University Editions en 2016. Richard Cockett est journaliste pour The Economist. Il est responsable des pages Afrique depuis 2005. Oui, absolument. Et dans ce livre-là, il se penche sur la situation soudanaise qu'il qualifie comme étant l'un des plus grands désastres politiques et humanitaires de notre époque, carrément. Il va souligner que les 2 plus importants programmes d'accès à l'alimentation et de maintien de la paix ont été déployés au Soudan dans les dernières années, que ce soit pour la crise au Darfour, mais aussi pour le conflit au Soudan du Sud. Il dit aussi que le Soudan est le pays au monde qui a produit le plus grand nombre de réfugiés et de personnes déplacées dans l'époque récente, finalement.
Oui, et le Darfour qui en est venu peut-être à symboliser l'image que l'Occident a du Soudan aujourd'hui à cause du conflit qui a eu lieu en 2003 et en 2004. Ce n'est qu'une partie du problème des problèmes auxquels font face la situation soudanaise. Il va dire, pour comprendre l'ampleur de la catastrophe au Soudan, il faut voir que dans ce pays-là, qui avant sa partition en 2 États en 2011 était le plus grand.
680 News Time, 111.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by AGM Renovations. On the eastbound 401, it's a slow go from James Snow Parkway to approaching Trafalgar. Now, no problems have been reported through this stretch, but if you're there and can update at Center Star 680 on your cell. Now, we still have this problem as well. Eastbound 401, the ramp to Black Creek, that is now closed. It's for vehicle fire cleanup. That vehicle fire southbound on the 400, just south of the 401, the 2 right lanes are closed. So no delays on the southbound 400 as you head past that problem, but that eastbound 401 collector ramp to the northbound 400 is getting really jammed up. So drivers here just backing out of that backup right now to get onto the collector ramp going to the northbound 400. And then we still have a stalled vehicle eastbound 401 at Young and the Express, the right lane closed there.
You're supposed to not to do that.
Westbound 401, problems west of Mississauga Road, they've cleared. Now traffic is jammed on the westbound 401 from Mavis Express and Collectors to just west of Mississauga Road, but those delays are gradually improving. Keep in mind you can't get onto the northbound 400 from eastbound Highway 7. That ramp to the northbound 400 is still closed because of a truck rollover. In Grimsby, problems on the Toronto-bound QEW at Casablanca, they've cleared. Some delays there are quickly improving. On city streets, just watch out for a collision on Avenue Road north of DuPont. The left lane is closed both ways. How about the money you save staying at home, you spend on your home? Increase your living space. Finish your basement. Call AGM now and get $5,000 off your new basement. Visit agmrenovations.com. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
The average high -2. We're just below that today. Our guaranteed high -3 and likely more cloud than sun for most areas. Brisk wind out of the northeast. Tonight, mainly cloudy down to -8. It'll feel more like -15 overnight. And -2 for the high tomorrow for Groundhog Day, mainly cloudy. For today, the guaranteed high, -3. Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy. It's -5. Feels like -10. Pearson Airport, cloudy and -7 with a wind chill of -13. 680 News Time, 1:13.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. For that, let's check in at the Business Center. How are things looking, Chris?
Well, I'm going to start with shares in GameStop, Steve. It seems that Reddit-fueled rally is over, at least for the moment. Shares in GameStop down 24%. It is not affecting Wall Street, which is bouncing back after its worst week in months. So right now the Dow is up 254. The S&P is higher by 59. And then NASDAQ up by 325. So that is a gain of 2.5%. The NASDAQ, the big winner by far in North America right now. The TSX is up by 310 points, 17,647. That's a gain of 1.8%. And it too is coming off a losing week. A big spike coming from the gold stocks today with gold itself up by $18, $18.68. Material stocks higher as well. Silver today has been close to an 8-year high. Right now up 8.4%. And oil is higher as well, up 91 cents, 53.13. While the Canadian dollar is going the other way, it's down 37/100, 77.90 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
When it comes to investing, it's time to consider the alternatives. Dynamic Funds sees diversification differently. Ask a financial advisor how and learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
It's the Ram 4x4 Winter event.
How about a more dramatic name? Like the Ram Winter Doesn't Stand a Chance event.
With big discounts on Ram trucks.
So that's a no? Okay. How about the Ram Old Man Winter Better Run and Hide event?
Get 25% off MSRP on the 2020 Ram 1500 Classic.
Also no. Okay.
For up to $14,600 in total discounts.
Well, discounts that big, it doesn't matter what you call it.
See your Ram dealer for details.
First, your disability insurer denies your long-term disability claim, and then your employer threatens to fire you if you don't return to work. Sound familiar? My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability insurer denies your disability claim for any reason, or if your employer threatens to fire you because you're too sick to work, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
It's partly cloudy and -5 downtown. Factor in the wind feels more like -11. Good afternoon, I'm Steve Roberts.
And I'm Sarah Parrots. Here are the top stories this hour.
Well, as the Ford government announced additional health and safety measures for schools reopening in Ontario, no timeline has been given on when exactly students in the GTA will be able to return to in-person learning. Ontario reporting 1,969 new cases of COVID-19 today, along with 36 more deaths. However, Health Minister Christine Elliott says the number in Toronto is actually an overestimate because of a technical glitch. And international travelers arriving at Pearson Airport will now have to undergo mandatory COVID testing. The new measure went into effect at noon today. Time now for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Andrew Nye.
Steve, Adam Brooks and the Leafs had a skills development session today.
Down low work, getting pucks off the wall, and getting your body to shield the defenders. Things that obviously are going to be used in a game.
Meanwhile, Joe Thornton and Nick Robertson both skated, but Leafs coach Sheldon Keefe says their timelines for return remain the same. Nothing has changed, but they are progressing well. Leafs and Canucks on Thursday. The Baseball Players Association doesn't want to delay the start of the season and doesn't want expanded playoffs. John Morosi understands why the owners would want to. More time means more people likely getting vaccinated, which means a greater chance of having paying customers.
Does it make sense to swing April games over to the fall? Yes. You're playing them at a time when you have a better chance to have fans in the stands and increase your revenues, which eventually, from the player standpoint, that they have to realize this too, that playing games when ballparks are full ultimately is good for them.
There's Morosi on Good Show. Three-time World Series champ and 08 AL MVP Dustin Pedroia has announced his retirement. Pedroia played his entire 17-year career in Boston. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
RRSP season is here. Consider Israel Bonds for your RRSP and tax-free savings account. Israel Bonds are now paying up to 3.10% in Canadian dollars, subject to conditions. Israel Bonds are sold in Canada by Canada Israel Securities Limited. Diversify your RRSP and TFSA with Israel Bonds. Rates up to 3.10% are available until February 14th. Call Israel Bonds today at 416-789-3351 or visit israelbonds.ca.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's something you hear a lot this time of year. Making space in your life is what a new year is for. Get a fresh start in your home and your life with Access Storage. For the safe place to store the belongings you love but don't have space for. Access Storage can be your resolution solution with flexible and affordable storage options and more than 100 convenient locations in Ontario. Get on with your new year. Access Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit accessstorage.ca. 680 News Time, 1:19.
Honor, change, and impact.
These are the builders of the GTA.
This is Black History Month, and 680 News is telling the stories of those in the Black community who are instrumental in building our communities. Now, 680's Kevin Meisner has the story of Jean Augustine, the former Etobicoke MP who championed the recognition of Black History Month in this country.
Jean Augustine made Canadian history in 1993 when she became the first Black woman elected to the Parliament of Canada. She's also the first Black woman to hold a cabinet position and sit as Deputy Speaker. She began championing Black history in Canada even before politics when she was a teacher of social studies.
And there was nothing in the textbook
and nothing in the curriculum module that spoke to the history or the presence of African Canadians.
In 1995, Augustine won unanimous support from MPs for legislation recognizing Black History Month.
I used a lot of the question period time to go from desk to desk.
Augustine is proud to see Black history now being taught in schools, but also how it's grown even further.
The way that it would get into entertainment, the media, in corporate boardrooms, and just about every sphere and every area in our society.
Augustine is a member of the Order of Canada for a distinguished career as an educator, politician, and advocate for social justice in Canada. I'm Kevin Meisner.
And on the way in just 60 seconds, a look at the roads.
680 News Time, 1:20. Your employment rights with Lior Samfiru from employmentlawyer.ca.
COVID-19 has forced drastic employment changes on many Canadians in the form of layoffs, pay cuts, reduction in hours, demotions, and work relocation. What most employees don't realize is that your employer does not have a right to make significant changes to terms of employment without your consent. You don't have to accept these changes. Your employer is essentially terminating you, and you are owed full severance pay. I can help you get the severance package you are legally owed. My team has helped tens of thousands of employees get the compensation they deserve when changes are made to their job. Before you accept any changes, contact me and discover why my employment law firm is the most positively reviewed firm in Canada.
Contact employment lawyer Lior Samfiru today. Get the advice you need and the compensation you deserve. Visit employmentlawyer.ca. That's employmentlawyer.ca. 680 News Time, 1:21.
Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Eastbound on the 401, not seeing any delays anymore heading towards Trafalgar, and traffic spotters say there's nothing there anymore, so that problem has cleared. But we still have this problem eastbound 401 on the ramp to Black Creek. That ramp is closed now for vehicle fire cleanup. So delays on the eastbound 401 express and collector ramps onto the 400. And again, you won't be able to get onto Black Creek Drive. Eastbound 401 at Yonge and the Express, that stalled transport truck has been removed and not seeing any delays through that stretch. Westbound on the 401, just a little bit busy as you head past Mavis and the Express. That's due to an earlier problem. Northbound 400, the eastbound Highway 7 ramp onto the northbound 400, that remains closed. And that is due to, for collision cleanup, there was a transport truck that rolled over, but I just watched a heavy tow remove that transport truck from the scene. So that ramp expected to reopen soon. That's eastbound Highway 7 to the northbound 400. And just getting word from the MTO about some emergency construction. Now this is going to be on the eastbound 401 through Avenue Road in the Express. Those crews going to be setting up shop in the two right lanes. On city streets, there's a collision on Avenue Road north of DuPont. That's blocking the left lane both ways. The safety of drivers both on and off the road means everything to 407 ETR. That's why they've developed a COVID assistance program for those who need it most. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Temperatures near or below average and feeling colder with the wind for us today and tomorrow, but milder air on the way with lots of sunshine for midweek. Today, quite a bit of cloud. Guaranteed high -3, -8 for the low. It'll feel like -15 overnight. -2 tomorrow for Groundhog Day, mainly cloudy. And then Wednesday, lots of sunshine and up to +1. For today, the guaranteed high, -3.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it's partly cloudy and -5. It feels like -9. At Pearson Airport, it's cloudy and -7 with a wind chill of -13. 680 News Time, 1:23.
If your head wants to plan for retirement, but your heart wants to enjoy life now, the Scotia Aria Retirement Program can help. No matter where you're starting from, we can create a unique path to help reach your vision of retirement. And as you grow, this flexible plan can grow with you, so you can enjoy what's important to you today as you get closer to your retirement goals tomorrow. Get started at scotiabank.com/aria and learn more about the Scotia Aria Retirement Program.
The Big Story. I'm your host, Jordan Heath Rawlings. How dangerous is this pandemic winter for the homeless? Listen at thebigstorypodcast.ca or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, one lucky 680 News listener is now $26,000 richer. Not bad for a Monday. A 7-month-long streak for the weather guarantee is now over. We gave our jackpot away this morning. This is how the phone call went with Blake Templeton from Holland Landing. Blake? Guess what?
No way.
It's yours. Congratulations.
Are you serious?
Yes, dead serious.
Wow.
$26,000, dude.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Well, for your chance to get the next one, head to 680news.com/contests. Well, coming up in just 60 seconds, we're going to check to see whether it's been a winning day on Bay and Wall Street so far. Chris McCusker with those details just ahead.
680 News Time, 125.
Still a lot of winter left. Is your furnace up to it? Call Reliance Home Comfort for a repair or replacement. We're here 24/7, and we'll get there fast. Reliance has over 50,000 five-star reviews, and you can count on our commitment to safety precautions. And remember to ask about our next day or we pay installation guarantee. Call today and save 30% off our featured furnace. Get a great furnace deal now.
Oh, Reliance.
Conditions apply. Savings off our regular price. See website for details.
Share more with family with CIBC Global Money Transfer. We know achieving your goals in Canada happens with the support of family. With CIBC Global Money Transfer, we have zero transfer fees, so more of your money goes to thanking those who matter most. Share more with family in over 100 countries. Visit CIBC.com/global transfer today. And now, get $50 back on your first transfer with promo code GMT50. It's our way to share too. Conditions and CIBC foreign exchange rates apply.
680 News Time, 126.
Time now for the 680 News Business Report. We're going to check in now at the Business Center with Chris McCusker. Chris, we're not talking gold. We're not talking platinum. We're talking silver.
Yeah, silver in the spotlight today, Steve. It's kind of interesting. The retail investors have sort of redirected, let's say, their focus. And the price for silver today has been close to an 8-year high. Right now it's up 8.5%. $29.27. It did move above $30. And frankly, that's a good thing for the TSX, which is bouncing back from a losing week. Right now, it's up by 327, 17,663. A gain right now of 1.8%, although Bay Street also getting a lift from the gold stocks. Gold is up $18, 18.68. And then oil is higher as well. It's up $1.15 or 2.2%, 53.35. The Canadian dollar going the other way. It's down 0.3 cents, 77.98 cents US. Now, stateside, we've got Wall Street bouncing back from its worst week since October. So the Dow right now is up by 259. The S&P higher by 60 points, and the NASDAQ far and away the lone standout today. It is the big winner, up by 2.5%. Now, shares in GameStop taking a hit today. That stock down 24%. Remember, last week it was up by 400%. And new data today shows shorting shares in GameStop cost hedge funds a total of $12.5 billion last month. That's according to data from analytics firm Vortex. Now, one of the funds that got hit was Citadel Advisors, but Citadel stands to benefit as a major shareholder of the largest silver exchange traded fund. And that, too, was mentioned on the Reddit site. So between Citadel and the TSX, irony. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments.
Yeah, that's the funny part here is that, a lot of these Redditors are thinking that they're getting one over on the financial system, when in reality the financial system is gaining from all of this. The firms that are intermediating all these trades are actually making money. So, not quite taking down the financial system here, unfortunately.
Now, shares in Tesla moving higher as well today. An analyst at Piper Sandler has more than doubled the price target on this stock, saying the fireworks aren't over yet. Shares in Tesla higher by 4.6%. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Do you have a security alarm system? Are you paying too much? I'll bet you are. Switch your current alarm system to the Monitoring Center and start saving today. With rates as low as only $9.99 per month and a 6-month free sign-up bonus. No long-term contract, and switching is easy.
1-866-24-7 or $9.99. 1-866-24-7 or $9.99.
Visit themonitoringcenter.com for details.
How was your run?
Incredible. My new Fitbit from TSC is great, and I feel so rested lately with our new Casper mattress. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is easy with TSC.
Living well looks good on you. Shop TSC.ca. Today's shopping choice.
I love working out at home.
Our Echelon rower from TSC is awesome.
dear.
free easy pays make it so affordable.
Yeah, my new
What do you mean if this is suicide?
Living well looks good on you. Shop tsc.ca.
If you were thinking of hurting yourself, somebody here will talk to you. But aside from that, no, it's not about suicide. I have suicide disease, which kills 1 out of 2 people via suicide. That's a different thing. I'll get to that. I will.
Toronto's #1 for
Toronto's
traffic and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, February 1st. I'm Sarah Paris.
And I'm Steve Roberts. Here's what's making news this hour.
A decision on allowing GTHA students back to in-class learning could come this week with February 10th on the table.
Mandatory COVID testing at Pearson Airport is underway for all incoming international travelers.
I had a test to get on the plane. I've got a test on the other side, so better safe than sorry.
The Trudeau government
Yeah, but I should just hop on an American plane.
New travel measures. People can still easily book flights to the Caribbean and Mexico, despite Canadian airlines suspending service. Some city councillors say the powers the province promised Toronto to give small businesses tax cuts to help them survive need to come through soon, or they won't be able to do it.
Leaf sensitive to Rasmus Sandin not playing, but still have him working. Pedroia calls it quits.
What does that mean?
Sports at 45.
U.S. markets bounce back from the worst week in months. Shares in GameStop in the red, and the TSX up by more than 300
2 weeks ago,
points.
you were telling us it was the
Business
best week
at 56.
ever.
680 News Time, 131.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis. We still have this ramp closure eastbound 401. There is no access to Black Creek Drive. That ramp remains closed. It's all for vehicle cover cleanup. So you'll find delays right now on the eastbound 401 Express and collector ramps onto the 400. If you end up taking that ramp, the collector ramp to 400 with Black Creek, you'll be forced to continue onto the northbound 400. MTO reporting emergency construction eastbound on the 401 east of Avenue Road in the Express. The 2 right lanes are closed. It looks a little bit busy through this stretch on the eastbound 401 from Avenue over towards Yonge and the Express 400. That has reopened. Northbound on the 427, that's still going into the long-term construction from the 407 onto the Highway 7 ramp.
You were researching your name.
And the QEW, no
You weren't searching suicide. You were searching Jones. What the hell?
Now
Damn it.
forecast. Here's Jill Taylor.
Temperatures near or below average and feeling colder with the wind for us today and tomorrow, but mild
When you're a kid and you can't figure out how to get your other sleeve on, you can't get your other knitting on, everything is not working in the morning. They haven't introduced you to coffee yet.
Minus 15 overnight.
We'll do that right
-2
now.
tomorrow for Groundhog Day, mainly cloudy.
Oh, fuck
and
off.
then
For
Wednesday,
real, is that
lots of
news?
sunshine up to +1. For today, the guaranteed high, -3.
Right now in downtown, we got mostly cloudy conditions again. Sort of seeing some breaks of sunshine. -5, feeling like -10 when you factor in the wind. It's -7, but feeling like -13 out of Pearson. 680 News Time, 133.
We received an update today on education plans in this province, and parents in the GTHA have a glimmer of hope as to when their kids can go back to in-person learning, but there's still nothing concrete.
Now, 680's Irene Preckler joining us live with the latest from today's education announcement. Irene.
Steve, hundreds of thousands of students across the province now have access to in-class learning. That, of course, is not the case here in the GTHA. Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health says they've been doing some number crunching. The Premier was asked about this and says the goal is February 10th.
Well, we've had enhanced testing, and we have the HEPA filters. We're going to do more screening. We have over 50,000 tests, the antigen tests ready to go.
Ford says the education minister should have an announcement in the coming days for GTHA parents. The province today also announcing students in teacher education programs will be allowed to work in supply positions this year to ease teacher shortages. Reporting live, Irene Preckler, 680 News.
What?
Well, there are 1,969 new cases of COVID-19 in the province today, and 36 more deaths linked to the virus. 886 of those new cases are in Toronto. The health ministry says Toronto is migrating to the provincial data system, and additional records were reported for the local public health unit. And this has caused an overestimate of today's daily counts. And the province has also started listing the number of confirmed variant cases detected. So far, 69 cases of the B117 variant from the UK have been confirmed in Ontario.
You're listening to 680 News. It's now 1:35. Well, of course, international travelers arriving at Pearson Airport will now be greeted with a COVID test once they land here. Now, 680's Mark Douglas joining us live now from Terminal 3 this afternoon with the story and reaction. Mark?
And Steve, here at Terminal 3 arrivals, there's about a dozen simple gray office cubicles set up for testing areas now, and even more staff here in full PPE gowns and masks and face masks, ready to go to do all the testing. The Ontario government's new mandatory COVID testing actually got underway at noon for all international travelers coming to Ontario, whether they're visiting or coming home. And so far, every traveler I've met coming out of the booths is very okay with this program.
When entering back in the country, 100%. It's better in terms of like tracking and in terms of like limiting the spread and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I had a test to get on the plane before I could come here, and I've got a test on the other side, so better safe than sorry. I don't have any worries about a positive result, but one never knows, right?
Now, the federal government is going to bring in a similar program in the coming weeks, but the Ford government wanted to get this up and going as soon as possible. This provincial mandatory screening is also eventually going to be set up at land border crossings, too. Reporting live at Pearson Airport, I'm Mark Douglas.
While Canadian Airlines have canceled their flights to the Caribbean and Mexico during this second wave of COVID-19, it's not hard for people in our country to still book a vacation to these sunny destinations. The Trudeau government's work is underway to fix a loophole while the opposition is going on the attack. Here's our Parliament Hill reporter, Cormac McSweeney.
Canadian Airlines suspended their services to these destinations after an agreement with the federal government. But it's still quite simple to book Calgary to Cancun or Toronto to Kingston, Jamaica with a U.S. airline.
The virus doesn't care whether the airline it's flying on is American or Canadian. It's, we need rules that are consistently applied.
New Democrat Taylor Backrack just one opposition voice saying the feds left a major gap in their travel prevention strategy and their service is going to be stopped. It should be banned for all. National Airlines Council also tells me their members took this action at the government's request and assumes the feds are engaging with foreign operators to make sure they're all taking the same approach. One air passenger rights advocate isn't bothered by this since there is no technical travel ban, but says the real alternative to flying is not the cancellations, it's the $2,000 hotel quarantine when people return. The Transport Minister's office says U.S. airlines don't fly direct to these sun destinations. There's a stopover in the U.S. The feds are working with the Biden administration to close the loophole. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Well, it's pretty clear that a lot of small businesses are really hurting this time in the pandemic, and now some Toronto City councillors are asking the province to speed up the relief. Now, 680's Momin Qureshi joining us live with more on what's being asked of. Momin?
See, that relief was promised by way of the province back in November when they tabled their budget, saying they would give municipalities the power to help implement or reduce taxes on small businesses as a way to provide them relief. Councillor Ina Bailau says that was really welcome news, except they haven't got the details of how they can do it, and they need to know before the budget has to be finalized for the city on February 18th.
I am joining with my council colleagues, calling the province to release the regulations as soon as possible so that municipalities, including Toronto, can do the necessary work. And it's still a substantial amount of work that we need to do to implement this policy. Our small businesses deserve no less from all of us.
So those councillors are bringing a motion to City Council this week to ask the province to hurry it up and get those details to them by February 11th before they have to finalize this year's budget. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time, 1:38. In a throwback to the milkman service, Loblaw is experimenting with reusable containers in Toronto. 680 business editor Chris McCusker explains. Loop, an online shopping platform started by U.S.-based recycling company TerraCycle, is teaming up with the grocery chain, and leading consumer goods companies are also getting on board. So everyday essentials like ketchup or ice cream, usually purchased in single-use containers, will be available in refillable containers. The delivery service, which is already available in France, the UK, and the US, aims to reduce single-use plastics and waste from household goods. So much like how milk was delivered door to door before the rise of disposable cartons, refrigerators, and the automobile, products ordered online through Loop are delivered directly to customers' doorsteps. At the business center,
they were selling milk before they had refrigerators. No, they weren't.
Anthony Longo here. This year,
This
we've all
shit, they
been
like
craving
delivering and
comfort,
shit, don't they?
which is why we've made feeding your family more comfortable too. We'd love to see you in any one of
Before
our
the milk was
stores, but we
delivered,
can
like,
also have your
not
groceries ready for
during
pickup
the
or
bright
delivered
heat
to your
of day.
grocery gateway.
You put it in
And
the
if you're
ice
looking for prepared
box.
meals on nights that you'd rather not cook, you can order takeout at longos.com or find us on Uber Eats. For quality that meets your family's standards, no matter how
I
you
said it's
shop,
false
trust
because
ours.
you can already get milk in glass bottles. It's a $3 deposit on the bottle.
Pro predicts the price
And
will
they
not
reuse
change
it.
in midnight,
What the fuck's that
staying
got
at
to do with Loblaws?
13.9 cents a liter.
Oh, Loblaws competes directly against them. Loblaws won't allow you to label things organic.
Financial
Loblaws
support is available from the government of Ontario. From grants of up to $20,000 for eligible small businesses to support for purchasing PPE to rebates.
10 minutes past the.
Other, let's just call it garden variety COVID-19, it can be harder to keep that under control. Of course, it still can be kept under control. We're watching other countries keep it under control. It just means that it's a little bit harder to do so. So we've got to be very, very careful. If people are choosing to reopen and reopen slowly, that's fine as long as you've taken steps to really reduce transmission in your communities. Have you created safer schools? Have you created safer workspaces? Can you pivot? Can you bolster your test, trace, and isolate capacity? So there's a lot of things on that checklist that really need to be bolstered before you can really start to say, let's open it up.
We just got through the holiday spike. Now we know what event is coming up this weekend. We've got Super Bowl. How concerned are you about a potential Super Bowl spike?
I thought you were going to say it was Groundhog Day, because a lot of us didn't feel like Groundhog Day for the last year. But yeah, Super Bowl as well. Yeah, again, any situation where we're in that gets people in indoor settings together, typically in close proximity, typically without masks, is a potential place for this vaccine or for this virus to be transmitted. So are you going to have Super Bowl parties with your friends and neighbors over at your house? Absolutely not. Like, that is clearly the wrong thing to do. Watch it on TV, Zoom or Skype or whatever we're doing with our friends simultaneously. But like, this is not the time to get together in indoor settings with our friends. We've got lockdown orders in Ontario and various public health measures across the country. Of course, it's a good idea to adhere to those because that's what's keeping us safe and that's what's keeping our numbers down.
You've had great advice.
What's keeping us safe? Fuck. What was the amulet thing? I just missed it.
On global television. As we head into the roads this Monday afternoon, another check of Global News Radio 640 Toronto traffic. And here's Lori Turcotte.
And right now, we've got one problem affecting two highways. 400 southbound at the 401. We've got vehicle fire cleanup on the go. Two right lanes are blocked. In addition to that, the 401 eastbound off.
Some poor bastard's burning alive, and all you are is a footnote on the traffic.
Eastbound on the Express at Avenue Road, there is emergency road work on the go. Two right lanes are closed. Some.
-4, it feels like -9. Oh.
Suivre sur Facebook et échanger avec nous.
Facebook.com/puis on lit.
L'écrivain congolais Alain Mabankou, le 18 septembre 2018.
Quand je pense que aujourd'hui j'ai 52 ans et que au fond je n'aurais connu que deux présidents dans ma vie. Marie Boiby à 11 ans, voilà, assassiné. Le président qui a mis 2 ans et puis en 1979 le président est venu au pouvoir. Puis il y a eu 5 ans de transition avec Pascal Lissouin, puis le président est revenu, puis on a changé les constitutions, puis le président est là. Donc on n'aime pas peut-être que les présidents s'occupent de la politique, mais il n'y a pas, comme je l'ai dit dans une interview d'un hebdomadaire Jeune Afrique, il n'y a pas de voix interdite en littérature. Et je pense que la liberté d'écrire est une liberté essentielle. Et je suis conscient aussi que si j'étais au Congo, si je vivais sur place au Congo, la structure ne serait pas la même et qu'il y a des gens qui voudraient bien écrire ce qu'ils veulent et ils ne peuvent pas le faire.
Plus on est fou, plus on lit. 10e 16 ans. On a vu.
Après 4 ans d'absence, la série culte Les Beaux Malaises de l'humoriste Martin Matt est de retour pour une 4e saison sur les ondes de TVA depuis la semaine dernière, le 27 janvier dernier. Jouant avec la mise en abîme, Martin Matt, en fait, met en scène dans cette saison sa rupture avec sa conjointe qui est incarnée dans la série par Julie Le Breton. On vu pour vous les 3 premiers épisodes. Les 3 premiers épisodes sont disponibles pour les journalistes, alors qu'un seul épisode a été diffusé sur les ondes de la chaîne TVA la semaine dernière. Cette série est écrite par Martin Matt, mais aussi par François Avant. Bonjour Thomas de nouveau.
Oui, bonjour Marie-Louise.
Et bonjour Isabelle, on vous retrouve après plusieurs semaines d'absence. Isabelle Racicot, dans ce segment, vous nous avez manqué.
Merci, j'attendais le nouveau studio, Marie-Louise.
Vous avez dit, moi, ça me...
Means staying home except for essential reasons like buying groceries. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. Paid for by the government of Ontario.
The government. GOVVERMENT.
With partly cloudy sky in downtown Toronto, -4 feels like -9. Good
Right.
afternoon.
Rockford is not speaking.
And Steve Roberts here with the top stories right now.
Ontario's education minister says the province is still evaluating whether schools that are closed for in-person learning can reopen next week. The premier says the goal is to get those in the GTHA back to class on February 10th. An announcement though on the matter is expected in the coming days. The province is reporting 1,969 new cases
We'll
of
never stop
COVID-19
dumping
today.
garbage in the
36
lake.
more deaths linked to the virus.
We'll never stop
886 of the new
making
cases are in
PCBs,
Toronto,
right?
but Health Minister
Never,
Christine
never.
Elliott says that number is actually an overestimate because of a technical glitch.
There's no way for it to overestimate. That's not building the system. Get out of here.
Time now for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fame.
5.97 kilometers. 0.30 kilometers.
De Martin Matt. Et ce sont des situations remplies de malaise, mais ça a été les premières saisons étaient très drôles. Moi, j'ai regardé, je pense, 2 des 4, je pense qu'il y a eu 4 saisons.
Oui, c'est la 4e, exactement.
Alors, c'est ça. Donc, moi, j'ai regardé 2 des 4, mais j'aimais beaucoup cet univers-là, qui mélangeait, comme je le dis, toujours le vrai et le faux. Mais on est vraiment dans une situation où on suit la famille et Martin Matt.
Oui, puis il y a des rapports à la célébrité. Il y en a dans les premiers épisodes qu'on a pu voir. Alors, c'est un type d'humour qui est inspiré, on imagine, de ce qu'ont pu faire les Britanniques ou les Américains. Vous disiez le cringe, Thomas Leblanc, c'est-à-dire cet humour de malaise et cet univers où des gens célèbres qui viennent de la comédie comme Louis C.K. ou Larry David qui se mettent en scène. On pense à Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David qui est le créateur de Seinfeld, Thomas Leblanc.
Oui, absolument. Oui. Dans KPT, Enthusiasm.
If you have a comment to make about our programming, write to us. We'll respond to your letter and send you information on the council and its codes. A message from the Canadian Association of Broadcasters and Global News Radio 640 Toronto. Now, back to Jeff MacArthur on Global News Radio 640 Toronto.
All right, buckle up, investors. Here we go again. Or at least it seems like here we go again. GameStop, we talked about them at length last week and how social media kind of shook the financial world by propping up this stock, forcing trading to be halted. Well, it looks like it might be happening again. And joining us now for more, our personal finance expert, Rabina Ahmed-Haq joins us here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto. Rabina, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeff. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. GameStop mania has now spread to silver. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story over again. The guys on this Reddit thread, Wall Street Bets, saw that Wall Street was over shorting silver, so expecting that the price of silver was going to drop dramatically, and decided to start buying silver and therefore prop the price up officially. I mean, these things are not being done because of any fundamental reason. They're only because of independent investors on these threads, and then those people being affected by it and watching the news and saying, oh, maybe I'll get in on this silver rush, if that's what you want to call it. And, we saw it last week with a number of different companies, including GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, BlackBerry here in Canada. And then we saw it again.
I'm trying to take it some type of news.
And now we're seeing it with commodities like silver. It's really disruptive because if you are an investor who looks at fundamentals,
you have all sorts of money. Like you're just making money. This is disruptive. Yeah, stupid. Jesus, you missed the point.
Going in the gutter. This can really
or even other small guys too, who are not trying to play games with the market, but actually.
So there's a quote, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a quote. I've read a lot of books. Some of them are fictional. I'm pretty sure this is a quote. They asked some guy, one of these industrialists, about when he knew the stock market was going to crash in 29. He said he was getting his shoes shined, and the shoe shine boy asked him if he thought, you know, such and such a stock was a good investment because he was going to buy some. And that's when he realized the stock market was going to crash because it wasn't built for everybody in society to have an equal shot at owning companies. No, it wasn't built for that. So if it gets to the point where everybody's buying, something's very wrong. It is about to collapse. This Robinhood app. I got a $50 phone here. I bet I could run that app on that phone. And I'm just a fucking shoe shine garbage boy. Or whatever. Where's the grips? You're not here. Okay. I'm trying to fucking pull up things for learning, but it's not gonna happen.
5,982 steps, 5.98 kilometers, 296 calories burned.
So yeah, Jackie, don't hurt yourself or nothing. So since I put the word suicide as part of the channel name, stage name, yeah, I kind of, obviously, because I think was expecting some people might be searching for the word suicide for a good reason or for a bad reason and come across this channel. So yes, we could talk, but you haven't answered in a while. Come on. That's how you people spend your time, man. So to freeze up. Right. The human element. Child molesters are trying not to draw attention to themselves. You draw attention to yourself every day from the pedophile hunters. How fucking stupid you are. Come on, keep it up. I don't know what you did to my Ethernet. Come on, stupid. Did I call it or what? I know exactly when it's going to unfreeze. So, yeah, system UI isn't responding. Sure, just isn't responding.